Hey there, Ryan Reynolds here. It's a new year, and you know what that means. No, not the diet. Resolutions. A way for us all to try and do a little bit better than we did last year. And my resolution, unlike big wireless, is to not be a raging and raise the price of wireless on you every chance I get. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 upfront payment required, equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes on unlimited. See mintmobile.com for details.
Hey guys, welcome back to the show. Today we're going to talk about the power of patience and the power of making observations. And I promise this is going to be a short episode. I know I've given you two really long ones recently. They were really good as well, but really long. And my goal with this show is to kind of keep these episodes into bite-sized chunks. That way you don't get brain scrambled, and that way you can really use them as a reference guide whenever you need to learn something new or whenever you need a pick-me-up. But today we're going to talk about the power of observations. And I want to ask you a question before we hop in. Have you ever been looking for something, meaning you put your mind to look for something, whether it is a specific price pattern on a chart or maybe it's in your regular life and like you lost the keys and you're trying to find them. And the more you focus on finding that thing, the less success you have at finding it. Hopefully you guys said yes, because that happens to me all the time. Whether it's, a training session and I get a trader that says, hey, Akil, can you show me some examples of like ascending triangles? And for some reason now I can't find any of them. Or me losing the keys around the house and I'm scrambling, and the more I try to find them, the less success I have, right? Well, what's funny about that situation, I guess the inverse of that situation, is that when we are not trying, that's when we tend to have the most success at accomplishing the task. And this is very important when it comes to trading, when it comes to building a strategy, when it comes to tweaking or filtering or adding to your strategy, because sometimes we get in the habit where we try so hard that we kind of block ourselves. But when you take more of a laid back approach and just kind of let it come to you, you tend to have more success. And this is what Dr. Brett Steenbarger talks about all the time, where he says the best trait a trader can have is creativity. And well, the best way to become creative is to turn your mind off. So turn your mind off, listen to the discussion that we had in my live trading room, and see if it's helpful in your trading adventure. A lot of traders get in trouble because they, again, we mentioned this in a podcast recently about patterns and how everything is a pattern, and how one of the issues that traders get into is because they want something to be a pattern or a repeated behavior, they make it a pattern and a cause even though it's not. And what that means is that we kind of see what we want to see. So if you're as really kind of like big on this, like I want this to be the thing that I trade, this one instance will be like, oh, it worked, therefore it's a pattern, let me trade it live. And the truth is, it can be completely random. So the next step isn't take all your money out and trade it live. That would be silly. What you should do is you take notes. You take notes, take a screenshot, and then you look for the next opportunity. And when it happens again, you take notes, you take a screenshot, right? Win or lose, right? You want to find losers too. And you keep tracking it and tracking it and tracking it. And if you track it long enough, you'll start to see like, hey, this is a pattern. Like this is happening a lot. Or you'll start to be like, nah, this is just BS, right? I can't tell you how many times I've back tested theories that I thought would work. And then I do like my pre-back testing phase and I do like 50 trades. And it's like, this is just completely random. Like there's no actual edge in this. So you want to answer that question first. If there is no edge in it, then you keep tracking it or throw it away and move on to the next thing. If you do notice that there is an edge in there, this is where you start to now develop rules and you get closer to that pre-back testing phase where you're like, hey, this looks like there's something to it. Now let me kind of actually make some if-then rules around it so that it could eventually be something that is tested. And things like this take a while. Again, we were speaking about horizontal volume earlier. Do you guys know how long I looked at that horizontal volume before actually making it something usable in my trading? Many of you guys were here. Who can guess how long? One day. No. Yeah, a full year. I tracked it for a full year. A full year. And for me, because I do analysis every day, I do the live room every day, it gave me so many reps. Because I used it and trained it the same way I would if it were a part of my strategy. I just couldn't use that information, which is very tough. Fortunately, I'm disciplined and successful, so that, being successful, I'm not gonna lie, not a humble brag, but it allows you to not give in to temptation, right? It would probably be different if I was like creating a strategy, because I'd be like I was back in my demo phase, where I'm gonna demo trade for 3 months, and then like 1 week later, I'm live, right? Because I want the money. But I walked through it the same way I planned on using it in my live analysis. And I just made comparisons for a full calendar year. And by the end of that year, I was able to simply compare. What did my results look like normally? What did my results look like if I used it? Which one's better? Using it. Well, Akil, you should probably use it. It passed the test. Now, I'm not saying you guys need to do a full year. I have very strict rules in my trading where I can't make any adjustments. The quickest I can make an adjustment is 6 months. With this, I wanted to do a full year just because I was still learning it. Again, when I did a study in the volume for about a year as well. And at the very end, after a year, I came up with this is pointless, as I thought in the first place. It was more relevant than I thought in the first place, but it was pointless as far as my trading goes. But at the very end, it was like December. That's when the live room members were like, hey, you should dig in a little deeper to the horizontal volume. Like, I know you mentioned it and you kind of brushed over it, but dig deeper into it. So then I was like, whatever, I'm not going to do it. And I was like, yeah, you know what, I should do it. So it was although I was looking at volume, I wasn't looking at that same type of volume. So I had to restart the whole process and make sure I was doing it the right way and learning it first and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, that's how you do it. You just don't jump in with live monies and start spending it. You make observations first. Hope you enjoyed. Short and sweet as promised. If you have some more time, maybe you're on a commute home and you're bored and need something else to listen to, don't worry. There's over 1,100 more episodes of the Trading Coach podcast. Scroll through, find a random one, or find a topic that you're interested in and give it a listen. If there's something you want to hear about that hasn't been discussed, shoot me a message, find me on social media, or leave me a message under here on the podcast deal, and I will create an episode just for you. All right, until next time, plan your trade, trade your plan, rate, review, like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.